Okay, so we're going to look at confidence intervals of a proportion, and this is continued. So I'm going to draw a picture here where I'm using this empirical rule idea, but in fact, the empirical rule is an estimate, and in fact, it's in fact not 2 standard deviations, it's 0.196. Alpha is equal to 5% is the remaining area. So alpha is equal to 100% minus 95%. So I just think this is some notation that we have here. And this guy right here is called Z alpha divided by 2, this 1.96. And this whole picture is standard units. So what we had before for a 95% confidence interval, we said that we had P is between P hat plus 1.96 sigma P hat and P hat minus 1.96 sigma P hat. So this guy here is called our critical value. So let me make a chart here. So if I have level of confidence, and then I have alpha, and then I have the critical value. I don't even know why I have to write alpha. So maybe I won't even do that. Let's just leave that off. So for 90% confidence intervals, I have 1.645, and this is a number that that's been calculated for us. So that's for a 90% confidence interval. For a 95% confidence interval, we're using our critical value of 1.96. And then for a 99% confidence interval, I have 2.575. So let me be more clear then. 90% confidence interval, I've abbreviated. It's going to be P hat minus 1.645 sigma P hat is less than or equal to P is less than or equal to P hat plus 1.645 sigma P hat. That's for 90%. 95% I already wrote above. That's going to be P hat minus 1.96. I mean, the thing is I've read books that say just use 2, because there's other places where we have little things off. Just use 2, especially, but then in the modern world, why don't we just use a calculator, and the calculator will get it exactly right. But 95% confidence intervals are very common, and then you can just use 2, because that's something we remember from using the, the empirical rule. So it's almost, it's almost 2. 1.96, it's almost 2. But you see a lot of 90% confidence intervals too. So that's 1.645 is a good number to know. Okay, and so so that's what we have for those confidence intervals. We're going to use a calculator though, for the most part.